What's good, y'all? So it's an interesting back and forth going on between Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock. Just to be, incredibly upfront, I am 100% team Jason Whitlock. I listen to his podcast most days. I only miss a few of them. But also, I think something deeper is going on with Stephen A. Smith. So let's check this out, and I'll have him explain it, and I'll jump in as it goes, kind of a thing.
Drake May for no reason. I've anybody that's watched Fearless has seen me, heard me unpack what transpired between me and Patrick Bet David. Patrick Bet David and his people sent me an email about flying. I live here in Nashville, flying to Florida to do an interview with Patrick Bet David. So I accept their invitation, take a day off of Fearless to go fly down to Florida to appear on Patrick Bet David's show. I flew down there with the full expectation, and I shared the emails at the time with this audience that, like, yeah, of course, he went down there thinking he was going to interview with Patrick Bet David. When I got down there, screwy things started happening.
So I want to pause here for a second because I used to watch PBD podcast too. I still love Vinny. I think Vinny is unaware of what's actually going on there, but time it took a little bit of time. It probably took about a year, maybe two. Then I started to really take a deeper look at Adam one and how Adam always stuck to the entertainment narrative, like always, and like is almost an anti-conspiracy theorist that like he doesn't believe any conspiracies happen when he knows in his real life that they do. So in my mind, Adam is no different than Chris Hayes, any of these people, Rachel Maddow, any of them. But PBD was it's a little more insidious. And what PBD does is he plays the family man. I'm the guy you want to follow. Look, but then I thought about it. I was like, wait, he got his money in insurance. One, and insurance in general is one of the most corrupt businesses that we have in general. But also, he's a guy that, and I'm not saying he may be a decent dude, wife and kids and all of that, but his motivation in life, because he came from struggle, or it sounded like from what I got from his background, he came from a little bit of struggle of immigrating over here and then going to the army, etc. Money is his God. He'll say that, he's Christian or whatever religion he is, but money's actually his God. And he's a part of this system. Like, no, that's the thing people forget. Nobody blows up if they're not a part of this system. Like, you have to be a part of this system to get any type of airplay, any type of big time, anytime. And if you stray from this system, Charlie Kirk. But what PBD was doing here is he was told to do what he did here. So let's keep listening.
And 15 minutes before I was supposed to go up to the studio and tape the interview, Patrick McDavid came down and said, "Hey, what do you think about Roland Martin? What do you know about him?" I was like, "Man, he's a clown. I don't like him, blah, blah, blah." And then Patrick McDavid asked me, "Well, would you go on air with him?" I was like, "No. I've already had the man to my house in Los Angeles, or my apartment in Los Angeles, and done like a 2.5, 3 hour interview with him. And it was horrible because Roland Martin talked all over top of me. And I'm not someone, I like to talk. I like to let people talk. If anybody watches my show, I let everybody have their say. Roland Martin doesn't do that. He wants to argue, and it became clear to me during the 2.5 hour, 3 hour interview I did with him. And you can go look it up on the internet. It's still there. They're like, Roland Martin got some assignment from someone. Someone put a check in his back. Hey, go do a hostile interview with Jason Whitlock. This happened at my home.
And with this, the thing that I want people to really ask is why. It'll make the rest of the world make a lot more sense to you if you start asking the question why. Why did he do this to Jason Whitlock? Why is Jason Whitlock shamed and called all kind of why? Like the people that we like the Kanyes, like why did that happen to Kanye? It's not because everybody is so pro like if you're anti-Semitic, you're out. Like that's not reality. That's not the majority of the world. Majority of the world don't even care. Why are these people like? Why is Candace Owens called all kind of names? We don't never ask like why. And then the people that push it the hardest are the people that have never even looked at the content. So it's from a place of ignorance. But to start asking why, if you start asking why, a lot of the stuff, like it turns out that it starts to unravel like a yarn ball going down a hill. And I'm apologizing for that on in and out. I don't know what that is, so I'm sorry, y'all.
And I was like, okay, Roland Martin's a clown. He's not interested in an honest conversation and give and take, a respectful conversation. Check. I've done this. I'm good. I'll never have to deal with the clown Roland Martin again. And I explained that to Patrick Bet-David. Like, man, I've already dealt with this dude. I didn't fly down here to get in some yelling match with Roland Martin. And I'm just telling you, what I thought in my head was like, oh. And look, I've made peace with Patrick Bet-David, but I'm just telling you what I thought in real time. So you'll hear this as disparagement, but this is what I was thinking at the time. I've made peace with Patrick Bet-David. Did I put enough context for you to understand this? So when this is going on in real time, I'm like, oh, look, he done set up a Negro wrangling match. He gonna pit me and Roland Martin against each other for the entertainment of his audience. And I just took off from my own show, flew down to Florida to wrestle with Roland Martin, someone I have virtually no respect for. And so I got up and walked out and left.
And I'm glad he did, because people that do sneaky stuff like that, I'll never trust you or I'll never interact with you again. Because why couldn't you just tell me on the front end you wanted me to or him to debate Roland Martin? Wouldn't that like why this it's a mental illness, I think, of like I'm gonna manipulate this into happening so it can that's weird behavior, and it should not be acceptable in society. And it's so prevalent in society of like just say what you want. It's not that hard. But the reason why people do that is so they can take away people's will or right to say yes or no. It's grooming. That's grooming. Patrick Bet-David was grooming Jason Whitlock, and it didn't work, or attempting to groom Jason Whitlock. Like that's what it is. I'm guessing Patrick PBD must be a handler or something like that, especially with the Army background. He's probably a psych op handler. I wouldn't put it past him.
When I got up and walked out and left, I called an Uber. And Patrick Bet-David did come outside and try to talk me into coming back inside, offered me money, offered to, no, we won't do Roland Martin. We'll just.
But you see how their brain works with the offer. They try to offer you more money. Like it's not, and they can't. But the thing is, they can't fathom or comprehend in their head that it's not about the money, because they don't have any actual moral code that they live by. Whoever's paying them the most is what they'll do. So it can't comprehend that you can't offer me more money to change my opinion. Like that's just not how I operate. Because that's how you operate. You assume the rest of the world operates like that, and that's just not the reality.
Do the one-on-one, but I was like, I don't want to do it, man. I don't have no trust in you. I don't know what you're up to. Mm-hmm. This whole thing, I done left Nashville and my own show to come down here under some false pretenses, and so I hopped in an Uber and went back to my hotel. And I explained this in real time. When I went back to my hotel, I argued with the Uber driver because the Uber ride was less than 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to get to my hotel. And I argued with my Uber driver, this ain't my hotel. No way this is my hotel. It was a 30-minute drive to my hotel, from my hotel to the studio. How can I be back here in just 2 minutes. This is not my hotel. And the guy said, man, look out the window. Look out the door. Open your door. This is your hotel. And I looked out and I was like, this is my hotel. And a light went off like, oh, they drove me around for 30 minutes while they waited for Roland Martin to get into the studio and hide him away so that we wouldn't cross paths and I wouldn't see the setup. And when the car service that eventually took me to the airport was the same car service that Patrick Bet-David had sent to drive me to the studio, I asked that driver about it. He's like, and he said, like, yeah, man, they do some funny things at, with PBD, and you're not the first person to be upset and feel like, man, there's some shady things going on and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, they asked me to drive around until they gave me the signal that it was time for you to come to the studio.
And that's one of the major reasons why I just said I'm going alt indie underground media type of doing my music and everything, because experiencing a little taste of that personality and that like manipulative, like Patrick Bet-David is a bad dude. He may have some good qualities, but he's a bad dude. It is what it is. What y'all think? Am I wrong on Patrick Bet-David? Of course I will hear in the comments. And just from the comments from my last video, one of the shorts on there, like, I hate people so my last video was about, like, it was kind of talking about that stuff in Chicago with the kids, but it's overall was just talking about kind of overall, like how the youth in our society are just ruined and walking themselves towards slavery. And you always get two things. You get one, like, it's just a small group. It ain't everybody that's doing that. Why you always doing the white man's work? I'm like, dog, why are y'all so focused on white people? One, none in that video mentioned about anything about white people. And two, that's how I tell new people like that. I know they're so disconnected from the actual neighborhoods that they say they represent, that they use for clout, and never actually put any resource to or go back to or do anything in, because they don't know that that's a majority of these kids. That's not a small group. And then the other side I get is the academic side. And I'll be like, man, I get my master's degree next spring. May 16th, I graduate. A master's degree in community and organizational leadership. Fool. Like, I've been working in nonprofit in the community for 15 years, bro. Like, I literally know my people. I do. So, and they do this, bringing up Marcus Garvey. And I'm like, bro, you are looking at the forest and you looking at one tree and not watching the rest of it be on fire because that one tree is surrounded by water. Like, that's retarded. Stop thinking in theoreticals and actually get on the ground and see what's happening, because it's retarded. All right, y'all. It's Kitty Cams. I'm out. Peace.